almost live from the Herbert I. Greenberg Studios at WHIG. It's Up Late with Sam Bass.
Thank you, Scott Smith. Good evening and welcome to the show. Hey, let's take a second here to thank our sponsor, Metro Maintenance. Their exceptional service in heating, cooling, electrical, plumbing, and general repairs have been a cornerstone in our community since 1986 when I was a wee lad. Metro Maintenance's commitment to excellence and customer satisfaction truly sets them apart. So I want to thank Benton and his whole team out there. These are fine folks. Take my word for it. They're great people and they're great in the community. So, also they've been our primary sponsor for a long time. We really appreciate that. So I want to tell you a funny story. I know everybody's been here and done this. So recently I was at a restaurant to do a takeout order, not eating in the restaurant, a takeout order. So when I paid, the girl flips the screen around as they do. I was a little dumbfounded and I asked her, so even though I'm just picking this up and nobody's actually served me, you were expecting a tip. Is this what does everyone tip? She replied, most people do leave a tip. I said, well, would you think any less of me if I didn't? And she said, I would have a certain opinion of you. So I think basically she was trying to guilt me into leaving a tip. So I turned to her and I said, you know, here's a few tips for you. Don't stare at the sun. Don't eat yellow snow. And if anybody sticks out their finger and offers for you to pull it, don't do it. Anyway, just kidding. I really didn't say that to her. I did feel pressured though. She was guilting me into tipping her. I actually consider myself to be a good tipper. If I get served, that is. But one thing I've started doing lately, which I think is pretty cool. So when I go, I leave my business card and I leave the show business card and I sign my name. Robbie, can you throw that up and let them see that? You know, folks, it's fun being a celebrity, at least thinking I'm one. But don't judge me, okay? So speaking of judges, by the way I did that, that was pretty good. Our next guest manages both a law career and manages to stay on top of things out at Koi Pond Brewery down at the Mills. If you hadn't been, go. It's a cool place. We'll talk about that a little bit in a bit. He's also running for district court judge here in Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilkson County. Matthew Sperati is here. But before I bring Matt out, I want to talk about a recent video message I received. So it would appear I've got such an elevated status in the community now after winning the Area Ambassador of the Year 2 years in a row. There's the hardware. Please sit down and hold your applause. A lot of people look up to me and value my opinion. I was actually a little surprised when someone asked me for a political endorsement. I don't do those. Especially surprising, it was from a former presidential candidate. I never responded. He has since then dropped out of the race. But here it is anyway. I'm going to play it for you.
Hi, Sam. This is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I hope this message finds you in good spirits. I'm sure you're already half deep into a bottle of good spirits. Some of that fine bourbon you drank on your show, no doubt. I'm writing in hopes that you might consider endorsing my candidacy for President of the United States. Since you have won the Area Ambassador of the Year twice, I feel like you have the influence and the swagger to give my campaign a much-needed boost. Sam, I feel like we have so much in common. Did you know that a worm once ate a portion of my brain? I can only surmise from watching your show that a worm has eaten a portion of your brain too. And like you, I also enjoy dressing like an elf, but I prefer to just go shirtless whenever possible. Shirts just make me mad. By the way, have you ever left a dead bear in Central Park? Anyway, my point is, you are what you eat. Therefore, I don't eat dogs, monkeys, or humans because I'm none of those things. And I don't play pickleball. And it's not because I share your hatred of the sport. I simply can't play it because the worm ate the part of my brain pertaining to hand-eye coordination. I'd love to chat more about this and see how we can make this happen. So let me know if you're free for a call or coffee. Thanks for considering my request, Sam. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Best regards, Bobby.
Wow, that was unexpected. And absolutely made no sense whatsoever, kind of like everything on this show. So sit back, we'll be right back with my special guest, Matthew Sperati.
Metro Maintenance has provided fast, reliable services in Nash, Edgecombe, and Halifax counties for over 35 years. Metro Maintenance offers services for residential, commercial, and institutional facilities. These services include heating and cooling, electrical, plumbing, and general repairs. Our numerous years of experience, knowledge, and resources help us to accomplish our mission of serving our customers with superior service achieved through integrity and hard work. All of our work is guaranteed. For service, call 252-977-2730 or find us on the web at metro-maintenance.com.
Hey, welcome back. As promised, Matt Sperati is here. Please sit down. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Matt.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me.
We're looking forward to this interview, and I know it's going to be great. So first off, I want to talk to you about Koi Pond,
Okay.
the brewery. Your wife is the majority owner right now, right?
Correct. Yes.
But you do have involvement still. Tell me a little bit about that.
So we first started with the concept in 2014, and we had heard that Capital Broadcasting was going to come out and redo the mill, and at the time, their big idea was that they were going to make it into a beer community with lots of different breweries and live, work, play concepts. And we felt like that there should be somebody with some local buy-in to be part of that. And Deborah and I had been, at that point, we'd been here for about 15 years. And, we'd been looking for a community project to get involved in, to try to make our community better, because we'd been working on so many nonprofits, but we had never done it from the private industry perspective. And it just so happens that one of our friends, Eric Galoni, was getting really into home brewing at the time, and he was also the Habitat for Humanity executive director. And he was coming to me, and I was tasting his beers, and so we went to Eric and we said, "Hey, if we hire you as the brewer and we support the project, are you interested?" And he said, "Yeah," and then there it went off from there.
Well, I love the facility. It's really cool out there. I have been there a couple times myself. Have y'all caved into doing any liquor out there, or are you still sticking with it?
Well, we would love to be able to do liquor, but the building, since it's a historic building, we don't have the space for it. We can't change the interior or exterior structure at all, and we don't have space for a lot of things we'd like to do out there. We'd like to start selling, more varieties of beers besides just ours, have more taps, have liquor, but we just don't have the space. So we have entertained occasionally from time to time, adding some additional spaces, additional locations, so we can have more freedom and do stuff like that.
Yeah. So have you faced any challenges, like in the craft beer industry? Any challenges?
Well, in the beginning, it was, we spent 2 years from about 2014 to 2016 when we first started developing our concepts and everything, coming up with, our main beer recipes and so it was really the first, just like any small business, was getting over all the normal hurdles of getting licensed, finding a location. We spent the first about almost a year we were in existence in a small pump house on Gray Street behind Elijah Daltridge's building. And we had, he's a man of all trades. He can do anything, and he actually modified an existing refrigerator, ground refrigerator, and put temperature controls in it so we could store kegs in it as we brewed beers and came up with recipes and stuff like that. He called it his thermopylator. And so, that was any small business that had the same struggles. As we moved to the mill, we were the first business out there, so we struggled. Well, we didn't struggle at all getting people to come out there, but we did struggle with educating the community in regards to craft beer, because not a whole lot of people drank craft beer at that time.
It's kind of new to it, all of us.
Yeah, so we had to educate the community on drinking craft beer. At that time, we didn't serve any domestics, so we were educating people on, well, these are the beers we have that are closest to Bud Light, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I get that when I go to a craft beer place. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, so I said, what's the closest thing you've got to Michelob Ultra?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get that a lot.
Yeah. And well, that's okay.
But in the last year and a half, we've started selling domestic beers, so that's helped a lot with that.
Yeah. So do you have any upcoming new brews that you guys are working on?
Well, the beauty of being such a small brew system at the pond, we're only a 2-barrel brew system, is that we can pivot a lot. And so I think we have over 150 different beer recipes now, so we always got something coming out new. We probably come out, on average, it takes us about 14 to 21 days from start to finish to brew a beer. And so Josh Parvin, who's also one of the co-owners.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, so Josh Parvin's one of the co-owners with Deborah and Jim, and he's also the brewer, and he comes up with all the new recipes, and I'd say at least once every 2 weeks or so he's coming up with a new recipe, and so we're always putting them out. We have 8 taps, so we always try to keep 4 of them with our theme beers and 4 of them with something new.
So how do you balance running this brewery and your legal careers?
Well, it's tough. It was tough. That's actually part of the reason why I got out, was because I was handling all of our HR stuff, all of our payroll, all of contributing, probably 50% with me and Eric on our day-to-day operations. And in 2020, when I took over the sole ownership and operation of my law firm, I was then doing all that same stuff for the law firm. I was doing our HR and payroll and everything for the law firm too. And it just really got to be too much for me to do it all at once, plus all the civic organizations and community involvement I was involved in.
That's good stuff, though.
Yeah, but so I got out of Koi Pond so I'd have more time to focus on the law firm and some of my future plans in my legal career. But always, one of the things that Deborah and I, we've never once regretted opening Koi Pond. I mean, it was super awesome to bring a community of folks together in Rocky Mount that would have otherwise never really come together at the existing bars and establishments in town. So that was really awesome.
So speaking of your legal career, what motivated you to want to pursue a career in law?
Well, I don't have one of those stories like a lot of lawyers where they're like, oh, I really wanted to fight for justice, and and I've always wanted to support the little man. I mean, I do those things now, and I'm really glad to be able to do them. But when I first decided to go to law school, it was because Deborah was going, and we both graduated. We met each other our senior year at Chapel Hill, and she had said she was going to go to law school, and I was still, undecided about what my future may hold. And then at some point, our second semester, I was like, well, if you're going to go to law school, that sounds good. I'll do that too.
And now you're running for judge. I mean, what the heck?
Yeah. Well, she stayed at Chapel Hill to go to law school. I went to North Carolina Central, and then when we graduated in '99, and we decided whoever got a job first, that's where we'd go.
Yeah.
She got her job at Porter and Sproul here in Rocky Mount, and we've been here ever since.
That's awesome. So can you describe a memorable case that you've worked on? Anything stands out?
Well, most of my memorable cases are not, I probably should not be talking to you about them on this show.
Yes, please do.
So we have, one of the bigger things I did and started in this and have continued to do it is being on the Quarter Point list in Edgecombe County. And I don't know if you know what the Quarter Point list means, but when an indigent defense can't afford a private criminal defense attorney, there's a list that the government pulls for and appoints private counsel to those people. And so I've been doing that, and when you're on that list, you get a lot of really serious felonies. And one of the most memorable ones that I had
was me.
was actually a very serious assault case in Nash County, but the facts were were unusual to say the least. It involved some criteria of the gentleman who was involved in the assault, and some let's just say personal relations that were involved in the assault. And the person who did the assaulting, once they got involved in those personal relations, didn't realize what they were actually getting involved in with my client, and that turned out to be an assault afterwards because he found out what he didn't know. But that was definitely one of the most memorable ones. And
So, if elected, how are you going to balance your roles as judge, lawyer, and business? Well, not necessarily owner, but you're very involved with Koi
yeah,
Pond.
still very involved with Koi Pond. And actually, one of the things is that when you're elected judge, you cannot continue to be a lawyer. Mm-hmm. So I'll have to give up the law firm, or at least remove my name from it and my ownership interest. My two associates, Tia Taylor and John Liu, I know John's been on your show in the past, will take over the law firm and continue to keep that going. The law firm's been in existence since 1908, when Jimmy Keel was the original person in the firm, him and his dad. And then they brought in Mr. Lasser, who was my longtime law partner. Paul Duffy was involved in the law firm for a long time. So I'm really glad that I have John and Tia in place to keep it going.
In 1908, that's when I graduated from high school.
I think I might have been born just slightly thereafter.
There you go. So I'm going to move past all the lawyer talk, the judge talk. I want to get to some good stuff. I have some photos here, put together by my crack research staff from Macon, North Carolina. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So I want to start with this one. And I want to ask you, here's the picture. Are you A, gathering cans for recycling, B, the new musical act at Koi Pond, or C, wondering if you're up to date on your tetanus shot?
Well, it was actually B. So we had a band that would come and play at Koi Pond called the Hackensaw Boys.
Okay.
And one of the lead singers of that band developed that instrument. It's called a charismo.
Okay.
And he built it from scratch, and I was up on stage playing with him that night.
Very cool. Let me throw that. Watch out, Jamie. Okay, we're going to move on. We got another one. So what about this one? Okay?
Okay.
Are you A, enjoying a meal while on vacation, B, judging a lobster competition, or C, having an allergic reaction to shellfish?
Well, it was actually B, but I'm going to say, now I've forgotten which one was A, B, and C, but it was actually eating the lobster while we were on vacation, but I would much rather it been a lobster competition judging.
Well, you'd be good at it.
Because I love lobster, and every time we go to Maine,
fantastic.
we eat it like it's going out of style.
Okay, you got the answers, folks. All right, so here's another one. This one really looks interesting to me. So, are you thrift shopping, trying to decide what to wear for casual Friday, or visiting RuPaul's dressing room?
It was definitely RuPaul's dressing room.
Is that him in the background there?
That's a mock-up of RuPaul. That's actually a place in Floyd, Virginia called Outer Space. And they have a festival in Floyd, Virginia that's based on aliens. And Outer Space has some spaceships and some aliens and stuff out there. But they have that thrift store that's in an actual bus that they've renovated and made into a thrift store. And we were in there just browsing.
Very cool. All right, got another one here. This may be my favorite, actually. This one. So,
I'm gonna need a little sip to tell the story.
Okay, so I need to know A, B, or C. A, are you at a pajama disco party? Mm-hmm. At Elton John's birthday party? And remember, the third one, C, is the one I really believe. You're shopping at Walmart at 4 a.m.
Well, I've never seen any lights at Walmart like that.
But I've seen people dressed like that at Walmart.
Yes, and I actually got some of those clothes from Walmart. So that is actually a get crazy and dress like crazy party on the Michael Franti music cruise boat. And I don't know if you know who Michael Franti is, but he's one of our favorite artists. And we went on a cruise where all of him and 10 other bands played, and every night they would have a theme night, and that was Wear Whatever the Hell You Want To night. And so that's what I chose.
Apparently, that's what that was. Because it really does look like.
Well, you can't see this. So the picture is cut off. I actually have Birkenstocks with matching goat socks.
I don't know if I'd admit to that. Very good. That's a great picture.
Thank you.
All right. Last but certainly not least. So, this one. So, are you going on a hunting trip? A, going on a hunting trip. B, enjoying a romantic weekend in a log cabin. C, finding out what happens when you mix chia seeds in your shampoo.
It's definitely going on a hunting trip.
Okay.
Yep. And see, so I was trying to camouflage myself with all the other moose in eastern North Carolina. And so that was actually a completely unintentional photo. That's at my parents-in-law's house, and my father-in-law was an avid hunter, and that explains the deers on the wall. And I bought that moose sweatshirt in all places, Key West. I mean, who goes to Key West and buys a thick old
Nobody.
moose sweatshirt? But I got that, and then found that hat. I had that sweatshirt on, and then just happened to be going through my father-in-law's closet and found that hat, and was like, crap, this matches the... when I put that hat along with that blue coat on, I was like, man, I'm an exact replica of that sweatshirt.
I love the dogs that are...
Yep, so the one in between
photobombing.
my legs is Olive, and the other one is Amos. That's our two
That is a
animals.
great picture.
That's our two fur kids.
Okay, let me get back to the real questions.
Okay.
So you are a twin.
I am a twin.
Was it identical?
We're fraternal.
Okay.
I'm 9 minutes older than Jason.
So what was it like growing up as a twin, and was there ever any twin mischief?
We got in all kinds of mischief. That was our main game plan growing up. Jason and I caused all kinds of trouble together. I was the bust you up, fight you one, and he was the one that always to try to make the peace. He was always way smarter than I am. He's a pediatric dentist in Charlotte.
Wow.
But we have a super bond. I also have two other brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother. It actually turns out that my older brother and I, and he's an attorney too, we look more alike than my twin brother and I. I'm about 5 inches taller than my twin brother, and he weighs about 3/4 of what I weigh. So, but yeah, Jason's awesome, and we see each other quite a bit, about every month.
So my wife has twins in her family, and we were afraid we would have a twin, but we didn't. We had one child, and she thinks she's perfect. She is.
Well, Deborah's an only child too, so she thinks the same.
Yeah, exactly. We stopped at one. So, changing gears a little bit, what do you enjoy most about living and working in Rocky Mount?
Well, so that's actually the reason. So when we first moved here, and when Deborah got a job at Pointer, and Pointer has offices in Charlotte and Raleigh, and now Wilmington, and we kind of thought, well, we'll stay in Rocky Mount for 3 or 4 years, use the low cost of living here to pay off our credit card debts and our school debts, and kind of make a inway, and then we'll move to Raleigh or Charlotte that has bigger things to do. But the great thing about Rocky Mount is because it is kind of smaller, is that it makes it much more easier to get involved in the community and really make a difference here.
You can know everybody in the community pretty
Right,
much.
yeah, you get to, well, I would like to think I know a lot of people in the community. Now that I'm running for election, and you realize that Rocky Mount has 60,000 people in it, you realize that you don't know as many people as you thought you did. But no, yeah, it is really easy to get involved and get to know people here, and just everybody's so awesome, and we've had the best experiences of our lives here, and so.
So, when you start to think about unwinding from your professional responsibilities, I know you've done a lot of traveling. Is that your way of unwinding?
Yeah, so that's actually how Deborah and I decided that we were meant to be together. Was she lived in the apartment above me in Chapel Hill, and we had been talking a little bit, and about 3 months before we were going to graduate, I had planned another trip to go to Europe with some male friends of mine, and my dad had to stay back after my graduation because he was graduating from Wake Forest MBA school, and I wanted to stay for his graduation, and my other two friends were going to go on without me, and I was going to meet them over there. Well, I said, Deborah, hey, I don't want to travel over there by myself. You got any interest in going to Europe with me? And she said, I don't know, let me ask my mom. And she called her mom. She said, her mom said, you're crazy if you don't go. So anyway, we spent 2 months backpacking around Europe together, only having been dated for about 3 months, and we never once got into an argument. So, and ever since then,
she was the one for you, right?
Yeah. So ever since then, that's what we've done. We've made traveling it's kind of our thing.
So we're kind of running out of time, but I want to ask you a couple quick things.
Okay.
You are a social media weatherman?
I was. For about 2 years, I would do real short clips every time there was some sort of big storm coming or during the storm. Like one time I dressed up as a T-Rex and had prehistoric weather instruments that I would use to do the weather. And one time I even got Greg Fischel's stamp of approval on one of my posts.
Very good. He's been on here twice.
Yes, I saw that on
Very
YouTube
good.
videos.
So you told me in the green room earlier you like to be the person that orders the grossest thing on the menu. Why?
Because I like to expand my horizons, really, for the most reason, but I just like to challenge myself and see, if I can make everybody else at the table grossed out. And they go, oh, God, why are you ordering that?
What's the grossest thing you've ever eaten?
Well, I grew up eating liver mush. Some reason that around here makes everybody think that's really gross, but I love liver mush. Probably, we went to South Africa and I ate warthog. I always eat like bratwurst or horse. Yeah. Oh, I've actually had ox balls.
That's one of Jamie's favorites.
I had ox balls in Jamaica.
Very good. Well, that sounds interesting. I like to get interesting food too. I hate people that are so limited on their food, but the interesting stuff on the menu and what they suggest is always good to me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to have you back sometime, man. This has been awesome.
This has been great.
It's gone by
Absolutely.
so quick, it seems like. But you're a great guy, great in the community. You do a lot of things for Rocky Mount. We appreciate you, and thanks for coming on here. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I
Look
appreciate
forward to
it.
having you back sometime after you're a judge.
That'd be great. I can talk to you about the judicial system.
There you go. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Hey, I want to thank my special guest, Matt Sperati, for being on the show tonight. Great guy. We had a great conversation. I want to tell you, next week we've got a young man coming on here, Jason Gupton. He is a real live Hollywood stuntman. So make sure you tune in every Thursday night at 10, right here, Up Late with Sam Bass. Thanks for watching. See you soon.